Obama-appointed judge blocks ICE from sending Venezuelan gang members to Guantánamo Bay. Now, last week I covered the decision by the Trump administration to start sending certain illegal aliens down to Guantánamo Bay after capture. At first, when I started doing the segment, I was a little skeptical. I'm not a big fan of Guantánamo Bay as far as a detention facility goes. With that said, throughout the article, as I'm reading through it and talking through it, I actually ended up convincing myself that, yeah, this is a pretty good idea. And I stand by that. As long as there is legal counsel, as long as they have access to their attorneys. And people will say, oh, but they're legal aliens, they shouldn't have. No, everybody gets that right, okay? Anybody charged with a crime needs an attorney, American citizen or not, okay? We've got to stand true to that. Reason being, to be clear, it's not necessarily because, I want them to be able to get out, only if they're innocent. You want to make sure, number one, that you have the ability for the innocent people to get out. Number two, you want to make sure that we can't just use this as a loophole to start imprisoning Americans. I mean, we're talking about the deep state here. How hard would it be if under a different administration for them to just come along and say, we don't like what Rucker's saying. Hey, hide all of his documents, throw him down in Gitmo, and slap a number on him and say he's an illegal alien and don't give him access to anything or anybody. No, you can't do that. And then number three, and this is the most important part, I want to make sure, absolutely certain, beyond any reasonable doubt, that any time we have an illegal alien down there, that they can't loophole their way out because of lack of due process. In other words, let's make sure that we give them an attorney, make sure they've got everything that they need, access to that attorney, whether it's via Zoom, via telephone, in-house, I don't care. Just make sure they can't just get out through a technicality. Okay? The people that we're sending down there are people, not just people that can't be repatriated to their home countries. Okay? Perhaps more importantly, these are people that if we do repatriate them to their home country, they're just going to be back in 2 weeks or sometimes 2 days. Okay? People that continue over and over again. I posted on X the other day. You get deported once, or you get caught. You're an illegal alien, a criminal. You get caught, you get deported. You're an illegal alien. You get caught. You commit a crime. You get caught a second time. Gitmo, or El Salvador. We're trying to work it out with El Salvador, or we can use their jail or other places. Who knows? We'll see. We'll see how it pans out. So far, so good. We're 3 weeks in. I'm keeping. I have high expectations. And they still have time to make those things work. But let's get to this article real quick, just so you have the details of what I'm talking about here. This comes to us from AmericanPoliticalReport.com. A federal court has issued a temporary restraining order preventing the Trump administration from transferring 3 Venezuelan illegal aliens currently detained in New Mexico to the Gitmo detention facility in Cuba. This legal action challenges the administration's broader initiative to relocate certain detained illegals to Guantanamo Bay. The ones that I mentioned earlier. These are people that have they're violent criminals who have a very high likelihood of coming back. Okay? Ideal scenario, we can put them in jails in their hometown, home cities, home whatever, their home nations. Yeah, especially if we just got to be working with everybody that we can. Okay? And so far, so good. Okay? We've got Marco Rubio flying around the world. We got Kristi Noem, who's ready to get involved. You don't want to send Tom Homan to any of these places. They don't want us to send him. He's scary. Attorneys for the illegal aliens claim they are not members of the Tren de Aragua gang. They also cite a lack of availability of legal process and counsel for the accused. That second part I already covered. We want to make sure they have access to legal counsel. So let's just cross that T, dot that I, whatever. As far as the aspect of it, not member of the Tren de Aragua gang. There's no database. I mean, no perfect database. We have suspects. This is a member. It's not like they have like their roll call and everybody's walking around with their Tren de Aragua ID card. Okay, their ID card is usually a tattoo of some sort or multiple tattoos. Their ID card is something or vouching or whatever. So if you have somebody who is they got the tattoos, they walk the walk, they talk the talk, and you have corroborators that say, yeah, this is a member of the gang, and they're found with members of the gang. You don't have to prove in this stage they've already committed a crime. All you're determining is what are you going to do with them. So if you suspect, you being Tom Homan or whoever, if you suspect that there's a high likelihood that they are members of gangs or whatever, or that they are going to come back, or they are extremely violent, or whatever, Gitmo. Don't take any chances. That's all I'm saying. There are times I'm going to defend somebody's due process rights, but these are people that have demonstrably committed a crime, or keep coming back, or both. Gitmo. That's all I'm saying. Back to the article. Judge Kenneth J. Gonzalez, a Barack Obama appointee, go figure, granted the temporary restraining order according to attorney Jessica Vosberg, who represents the three men. The Department of Homeland Security had recently begun transporting criminals to it identifies as criminal illegal aliens to Guantanamo Bay, utilizing vacant detention facilities at the U.S. military base. DHS Secretary Kristi Noem emphasized that this measure is temporary, aiming to ensure the secure detention of these individuals until they can be repatriated or relocated to appropriate destinations. Hopefully, again, the appropriate destinations will be prisons abroad. Let's cut a deal. Cut a deal with El Salvador. Cut a deal with whoever. Okay? We've got clout. We've got pull, and we got a guy who knows how to make a deal. And apparently, it's not just him. He's got people working with him who also know how to make a deal. Okay? So, awesome. Send Rick Grinnell down. Okay? Rick Grinnell, yeah, he's the special envoy for special missions. Whatever that means, I don't want to know what it means. Because to me, it means, hey, what anybody else can't do, send Rick down. He can take care of it. He has the authority. He has the whatever. And Rick is I'm going to cover that some other day. I've been sitting on that topic, by the way, for a long time. I've been wanting to talk about that for a while. I'm going to hold it until we see something else. He already went down to Venezuela once, came back with 6 hostages. Not a lot of details about that. Sounds like a perfect mission for Rick Grinnell. Anyway, bottom line is, we can take advantage of this. We have to make sure that they can't loophole their way back to the streets. And the way that we do that is to make sure that they do have proper legal counsel. You might not like it, okay? I don't like the prospects of somebody getting out on a technicality, which is why I want them to have an attorney, okay? Let's be clear about that. I'm not trying to get them some slick-talking attorney who's going to be able to get anybody off and get them back on the streets. I just want to make sure that we dot all our T's and cross all of our I's. And if somebody is innocent, if somebody has been falsely imprisoned, falsely accused, then we want an attorney with them anyway. Okay? Are you with me? Good. But all I can say is this, though. Considering what we just experienced for the last 4 years, okay, being here now, and the big argument, discussion topic of the day is whether or not these 3 gang members are going to go to Gitmo or get deported. Awesome. That's a much better conversation than what we've had about the border crisis for the last 4 years. Thank you for watching that clip. I hope you loved it. 2 things now that you're done watching the clip. Number 1, find all my stuff and be sure to follow me on Rumble, YouTube, whatever, X, Getter, Brighteon, BitChute, those places. Go to jdrucker.com/find, jdrucker.com/find. Number 2, please help support our newest sponsor. You can go to jdrucker.com/infowars, jdrucker.com/infowars, and shop the Alex Jones store. Help to keep an important piece of the media alive and well. jdrucker.com/infowars.